Deontay Bay. Peace and blessings to the collective. Rahu in the 12th, Ketu in the 6th, right? What is this axis speaking to? What's the purpose of this axis? You know what I'm saying? What is the balancing factor? The uniting of the head and the body. What is to be done between these two focal points in order to turn the enricher that the soul desires in this particular axis, right? So let's get to it. Rahu in the 12th is basically showing that there's an obsession, an overinflation and distortion of perception in regards to the concepts of moksha, God contact. You can say the subconscious mind exploration or discovery or encountering the substratum of reality, or all the wokery. But it's not necessarily that, because that type of activity can be found throughout other houses, but it's more so moksha is a better word, the release, you know what I'm saying, the renunciation and the dropping of all of the complexities, the complications, the responsibilities, the finagle, the fuckery, the hustle, like dropping everything to come into this greater God contact, blissful union and release, like this moksha, this enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? It's basically an obsession or a strong desire to reach that particular point. Now, in this house, any Rahu placement has its good and its bad, you know. With this particular Rahu, the desire or the aim is, in my opinion, is actually great. It's not as criminal. It's not as criminal. But Rahu is not necessarily as clear within this particular house on how to achieve this aim, or how to integrate, this particular 12th house realization or whatnot, right? Let me slow it down. Okay, so Rahu in the 12th. Why is Rahu obsessed with this release of this moksha, or the dropping of, responsibilities, God contact, you know what I'm saying, all of these spiritual concepts and whatnot? It's because Ketu is situated within the 6th house, which deals with obstacles. It deals with Ketu in the 6th particularly deals with, you feel me, an oversaturation or a stagnation in the realm of dealing with management, daily responsibilities, chores, you know what I'm saying, drudgery, grudgery, uh, you know, mitigating health issues, mitigating responsibilities, legalities, bills, debt, you know what I'm saying, just the back and forth, yada yada, rigmarole, hustle and bustle of daily life. And it's like it can shows that a person has achieved a level of mastery or on pointness in this particular area. But K2 in the 6, it can show that it basically has come to the point to where it's a dryness. It's a lack of fulfillment. You no longer you no longer want to run the cycle or the hustle and bustle of daily life. Is tiring. It's non-fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? You've been there and done that. So Rahu in the 12th can often signify a person who just wants to escape, a person who just wants to drop everything, maybe move to a foreign land, a foreign locality, or some type of spiritual system, or become some type of monk, or go live in the woods, want to take shrooms, or different forms of drugs that can activate extrasensory capabilities. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do different things to basically escape. And that's the Rahu quality in activation. It tries to cut corners. Due to its obsession and its desire, it tries to cut corners and get to something as quick as it possibly can. But quick doesn't necessarily mean good. You know what I'm saying? They're often cutting corners without building the proper, in this case with Rahu in the 12th house, the proper spiritual discipline and foundation to handle the higher realizations, or to handle uh you know, the higher spiritual awareness and concepts. Rahu in the 12th can often lead a person to mental scattering, mental seeming mental illness, or mental illness of some sorts, like schizophrenia, or you know, you tapping into certain things that you wasn't supposed to tap into, or you know, suicidal ideation, depression. You know what I'm saying? Just it's an expansion. It's like you take the 6th into the 12th. You try to drop the responsibilities of the world, and it's like now in your subconscious and your psyche and your space or whatnot, due to the Rahu trying to cut corners, it's like, damn, now a person can put themselves into a situation to where they're ungrounded, or where they're unable to have the stability, or the practicality, not only on earth but in their mind as well, in their conscious as well. You feel me? Now with this particular placement, it is great for tapping in, like spiritual exploration. It is great for learning how to navigate certain realms and doing things of that nature and whatnot. But the Ketu, to really achieve the bliss or the groundedness of the 12th house, Ketu energy is really going to have to be respected and appreciated. Don't give up the 6th house. Don't just say fuck that, you know, fuck all the work shit or the job or the corporate space, or you know what I'm saying, handle your daily responsibilities, just leave your family, just want to go be in the forest and meditate for a million years and all. Like, don't just say fuck all of that. First of all, a large part of your moksha is going to be found and paying attention to the 6, as Ketu is there, right? The hidden enemies, the obstacles, the problems, the issues, being steadfast enough to not just want to run away from them, or to not just want to ignore them, or to becoming dispassionate to the point to where you feel like the shit doesn't matter. Being steadfast enough to deal with them, and in the midst of dealing with them, remain centered, remain in equilibrium, remain at peace, and still seek your spiritual exploration on your own, you know, time. After you get off work and all your chores are handled, or you know what I'm saying, or even throughout the day, as you're in the midst of handling your responsibilities, you feel me, just practicing inner contentment. The solution for Ketu in all situations is practicing, the solution for both of them, practicing gratitude and inner contentment in the midst of obstacle, in the midst of whatever situation that you have to be encounter, right? But with Ketu in the 6, try to use the daily life to grow in your spirituality. Use the obstacles and the enemies of the daily life to reflect the issues or the weaknesses within your own person or within your own being, you know, and then meditate on how does one move forward, or how does, you know, one truly overcome such obstacles and whatnot. You can still do shrooms, but do it in moderation. Like, you feel me? You can still explore Rahu. You can still, you know, go into the realms of what Rahu's trying to go into, but do it in moderation. You have to be real moderate. With Rahu, you need Saturn. I know people say that Rahu is like Saturn, but I would rather say with Rahu, you want a more Saturnian energy to suppress the gun ho, to suppress the horniness, to suppress the hungriness, to suppress the urge to just get to something as quickly and as fast as possible. Right? You wanna adopt a Saturnian energy to be cautious in your pursuit, to be practical in your pursuit, to be methodical, and to take your time. You know, still have the same intensity of Rahu, but to take your time as well, and to respect that this is an unknown territory. You feel me? Just jumping into it can lead to certain, it can lead to problems or obstacles, or you know, potential damages that you're not even necessarily conscious of. And this is why Rahu isn't necessarily said to function the best within the 12th house, because it's beyond the physical. You know what I'm saying? And when you're jumping into spaces that's beyond the physical, Google or a doctor, or physical instruments, people, and remedies might not necessarily be able to diagnose or solve that, right? You're jumping into a really unknown territory. So you got to be careful with that, right? But you can still do it, right? You can still do your shrooms, you can still do your meditation, you can still listen to you can still do your whatever practices that you happen to do, or whatever ritual that you happen to do. You're going to have the desire. The desire is not going to go away. You just have to be a little more controlled about how you express it, right? And to achieve what Rahu was looking for, the 12th house, you cannot give up the Ketu. And to calm down the issues, or to calm down the pains of the 6th house, to achieve what Ketu is trying to achieve in the 6th house, you cannot give up the Rahu. You have to unite them. You have to balance them out. It's methodical. It's going to function differently from chart to chart. All Rahu in the 12th, Ketu in the 6th placements is certain things with the Ketu that you need to keep, certain things with the Ketu that you need to give up, certain things with the Rahu that you need to keep, certain things with the Rahu that you need to give up, right? So this is my dissertation on Rahu in the 12th, Ketu in the 6th. Deontay Bay.